So I'm Kelsey Myers, a transformative life coach, and I do expressive arts, trauma healing, and personal empowerment through my business, Dialogical Persona Healing Arts. Uh, these are my parents, Noreen and Charles Myers, who were both born in 1948. My mom is a Cancer Earth Rat, and my dad is a Virgo Earth Rat. And this is the newest addition to my family, Zara Rose, my little Libra wood dragon, who was born October 2nd, 2024. And a little bit about my background is that I have a BA in English with an emphasis in writing and a philosophy minor from Kalamazoo College. And while I was there, I did a cognitive science and complex systems program in Budapest, Hungary for about 5 months. I have two MFA degrees from St. Mary's College of California. One is in poetry and one is in creative nonfiction. And in some of the multi-author books and journals that I've been in, I have an Amazon #1 bestseller award. I did a journalism internship for a local newspaper and served as an editor for the Transformative Power of Art journal, which unfortunately is no longer up and running. And I was well on my way to developing a career in academia as an American literature and writing composition instructor. I taught at St. Mary's, West Valley College, University of the People, and Le Cordon Bleu in Sacramento. And then I realized that I was actually more passionate about using the arts and writing for healing. So my second career now is as a transformational coach. I've been certified with the Awaken School as well as Tumulpa Institute in the life art process, which is a form of expressive arts therapy, and integrative somatic trauma therapy from the Embody Lab. I'm also registered as a somatic movement educator with the International Somatic Movement Education and Therapy Association and have trained in clean language facilitation through the Academy for Soul-Based Coaching. And that's where I learned that we can really use our own stories and symbols and metaphors to create the story that we want to become. So another way to introduce myself or my story is that I was born in Busan, South Korea around noon on October 8th, 1984, and immediately surrendered at birth. And even though I grew up in a very close and loving family and community in West Michigan, I still have this lingering absence that came from my initial entry into this world being an overwhelming sense of grief and loss of a mother, a home, a country, a culture, and even my original name, Jin Jung Mi. So for the first 32 years of my life, I felt fragmented, broken, rejected, and was looking for love in all the wrong places in ways that really mirrored that wound back to me of the original rejection from my birth mother. And I thought art and the self was found in shattering ourselves and playing with and looking at broken pieces of the self. But what I learned through expressive arts is that when we can draw and explore through both dance and really encountering these layers of ourselves in drawing and in movement, that I could come face to face with my inner child, and my parents even had a doll that looked like me as a child that I could really work with face to face with the fire. And I moved from sort of screaming in this silent way across the desert to rising through the ashes and ending up with these blossoming petals that represented my own transformation. So that's where I got the idea for how we can embody our stories. And every month on the third Sunday, I offer a free workshop that really allows people to build up inner resources through movement, through writing, through self-reflection, and through art making. And it's free, it's online from 3 to 4:30 Pacific time. The one coming up on Easter Sunday is about peace, how we can build these inner sanctuaries for ourselves that we can then put the piece out in the world and allow ourselves to be, especially in these really uncertain times where there is a lot of fear and anxiety and unrest. Really being able to create a piece for ourselves can help to navigate those times with less conflict and less challenge. So, another way to understand the self or our stories is through personality systems. And I really love all of the personality theories out there because really what another word for system is the self. And another word for that is our stories. So, I use these different systems with my clients as they see fit and as they like them. Not they don't work for everyone, but a lot of them do help people to understand the different layers of themselves and the different ways to tell their story. And from my own journey through the different personality theories, I ended up creating my own, which I call What's Your Secret Transformational Persona, which is loosely based on DISC. And my type there is the spiritual monarch. But I have 6 different personas that I work with in my business. One is the multifaceted leader, and the multifaceted leader is used to being in charge or taking charge. So, in these times of uncertainty, they might find themselves wanting to control things or be overly controlling in their lives or in their relationships. And some challenges that they might have to confront with that is that, you know, how to be okay with not knowing or how to just rest in being and not doing. So I love to work with people on really how to bring all of those aspects of their leadership and their knowledge and their direction into resting and being and working with being able to kind of be with their inner peace. I also work with empowered shapeshifters who are very mysterious and magical. They are kind of the type that can blow in the wind and go with this or go with that, a free flowing, but without a lot of grounding. If there isn't a strong center and a strong grounding system, then they can just blow away from themselves. So I work with empowered shapeshifters on creating that sense of center and really creating that system of roots in a way that makes sense for them. The fierce feline is very ferocious and sort of like a cat. They are passionate and intense and emotional and very excitable, but also have this desire for comfort, for safety, for security. So they can be a little overly cautious in going after what they want. So I work with the fierce feline type in kind of reconnecting to that passion and to that inner feeling of safety so they can take those bold leaps quicker than they would on their own. There's also the wise midwife, which is really good at seeing patterns, connections, weaving different parts of their life together in a very beautiful and healing way. And I really help them to expand that capacity for seeing, for connecting in ways that also allows them to nurture themselves and to create more of an impact in the world. There's the compassionate friend type, which is really the giving caretaker who can sacrifice their own needs to take care of their loved ones. They are sort of that idea you have of the best friend, but with a little bit too much of that self-sacrificing, and they can sort of get lost in their view because they are very empathetic and they want to help others. So I help them be able to prioritize themselves and put themselves into the picture so they can be a compassionate friend to their own wants and needs. And the spiritual monarch, which is my type, is really about that sovereign individual who can stand in their own uniqueness and has that ability to really own their truth and put it out there, but maybe doesn't have some of the compassion and empathy of the other types because they are more focused on their own vision and their own ability to bring about what they want in the world. So I work with a spiritual monarch in both realizing their vision, but with consideration and compassion for others and taking into account that in their own messaging. So, if you know anybody who might fit these types or is curious about exploring their own inner healing, please send them to my website where they can take the quiz. It's totally free, and they'll get a long PDF that gives them much more in-depth information about their specific persona, as well as links to be able to look at all the others on a private webpage. And the PDF includes some mantras and affirmations specific to each persona type, as well as a 4 different expressive arts suggestions that can help to begin to embody and explore and deepen the impact of the persona. So if you know anybody who could benefit from, either of these free offerings, please send them to my website. They can sign up there for Embodying Stories or for the free quiz. Thanks.